What's up guys, I'm Phoenix Master 1 and welcome to a different kind of Fire Emblem Heroes video. This video has been on my mind for the longest time and you guys have seen me say it in many of my summoning videos that I would love to see some unique units in Fire Emblem Heroes. So this is my list of the top 5 unique units that I would absolutely love to have in Fire Emblem Heroes, and these units will bring a breath of fresh air into the game if they are released. Also, I'm not gonna sit here and simply just ramble about how I would like to see this or that character, but rather, I'm gonna be providing you with the base concept of their stats, weapons, and skills, which they will most likely have, or what I would like to see. Feel free to let me know what you think of this list and their base concepts which I have made, and let me know the unique units you would like to see in Heroes. I would also like to have a little disclaimer that I will not be including any kind of shape-shifting units like Lagoos or Beast units, as it is possible to make an entire list with those units alone, and the way I have arranged this list is from what unit I think has a slim chance of being released in the game to the units who I think have a huge chance of being in the game. So let us begin. At number 5, I've got Alvis, who's well known for his famous barbecue of a blue-haired sword lord. Alvis is from Fire Emblem 4 Genealogy of the Holy War, and he's a major antagonist in that game and one of my favorite villains in Fire Emblem franchise actually. In that game he appears in his Emperor class, which is an armored class, and he's able to use magic in that class as well. So if he was released in Fire Emblem Heroes, he would be a very unique unit, as he will be the first armored mage who will wield red tomes. His weapon will be the Holy Tome Fall of Flame, which has got might of 14 and provides him with +2 attack, +2 defense, and +2 resistance when he initiates an attack. The bonus this tome will give in Heroes will be similar to +10 magic, +10 defense, and +10 resistance, which it gives to its wielder in Genealogy of the Holy War. Alvis is easily going to be a top tier unit with that kind of bulk and power. Not to mention the boost from his Fall of Flame tome will make him even better unit to have. He will have above average HP stat like all armored units and a very high base attack of 37, which both Empress Sanaki and Lilina have, and it is highest for a red mage. To balance him, he's going to be the slowest unit in the game along with Zephiel, which pretty much means that every unit in the game will be able to double him. His defense and resistance will be above average, making him a solid frontline unit as well as a scary nuke with his attack stat. His raw rating is going to be 159, which is 10 points lower compared to any other armored unit in the game due to the fact that range units do have less rating than melee units in this game. But still, it does not stop him from boasting the highest rating for a ranged unit in the game. His slotty skill will be Fire Boost, which he will be able to easily abuse due to his high HP stat, and will make him a monster on the battlefield. But on arena defense team, he's going to be easy to deal with because he's an armored unit with one movement, and you will be easily able to manipulate the AI and attack him at melee range with lance units, and not to mention Reinhardt will be able to smoke him very easily as well. His slot B skill will be Sword Breaker, making it pretty easy for him to roast the blue-haired sword lords, and his special is going to be Igneous, which is gonna give him massive amounts of extra damage due to his high defense stat. I could have given him Pavis, but Pavis is only limited to melee units in this game. He did have Pavis in Genealogy of the Holy War, but in Heroes, it's not possible that he will be able to have that. Alvis will be released as a Grand Hero Battle unit, meaning he will be available to everyone and he will be a free-to-play unit. This will give free-to-play players a solid red mage, as Ray and Sophia are the only free-to-play red mages right now, and a very good armored unit, as only Drog is a free-to-play armored unit who was given out as a reward for a quest months ago. This will also make it easier for people who have trouble with the 10th Stratum Armor Emblem quest every month if they do not have Hector. With skill inheritance, it will be possible to build him with a budget set with just a good assist skill like Pivot or Swap and a Slot C skill. However, it is possible to give him the premium options as well, like Close Counter from Takumi, making him an even better unit in the enemy phase. Very Fighter is also going to be a very good option, and if you equip him with Very Fighter, he can even live a hit from a life and death Lind. Alvis might look OP with what I've given him, but he will not be that troublesome to face for the most part if you've got a blue unit, as he will only have one movement. Still, he's going to be a solid unit and a top tier unit, as he can nuke stuff in player phase with his high base attack and boost from Fall of Flame, and easily tank hits in the enemy phase due to his bulk. The reason why I have put him on the 5th spot is because I haven't really seen Intelligent Systems show much love to Genealogy of the Holy War, as they have only released 4 units from that game, and that 2 months ago. Plus, this might be just too unique for Fire Emblem Heroes standards, and I'm not really sure if Intelligent Systems would release a unit like him. So let's move on to the 4th unit on this list.
Service with a smile.
So Flora is the 4th unit on my list. She's from Fire Emblem Fates and she's one of Corrin's retainers in Nor, along with Felicia, Jacob and Gunter. Flora will be a very unique unit in Fire Emblem Heroes, as she will be the first unit in Heroes whose physical weapon will target enemies' resistance instead of defense stat. She will have Flame Shuriken from Fire Emblem Fates, which hits its target on the magical side. This weapon will inflict -5 defense and -5 resistance after combat. Not only that, this weapon will also inflict the panic status on Flora's target after the battle, meaning all of their buffs will turn into penalties. Even though in Fates this shuriken isn't really a legendary weapon, however in Heroes it will be Flora's personal weapon and it will not be inheritable to any other unit, hence having 11 might, which is same as Jafar's Deathly Dagger, which is not inheritable to any other unit as well. Flora will have a very poor HP stat, similar to how in Fate she has a poor HP growth rate. Her attack stat is going to be average, but it's average to balance her out, and this attack is enough to fulfill her niche role. Her speed will be high and she will have average bulk, but now let's talk about the most exciting thing about her, her slot B skill. It's going to be Wind Sweep. Also, since Flora appears as an enemy unit in all 3 Fire Emblem Fates games, even though she's playable unit in 2 games, that's why she will be a Grand Hero Battle unit and she will be a free-to-play unit. She will also be the first free-to-play unit to have Wind Sweep, and this will allow players to use the Phantom Speed Sacred Seal, which they got from the second Tempest trial. Right now, Phantom Speed is the most worthless Sacred Seal if you do not have Arm or Soren, or unless you're up against an enemy with Water Sweep or Wind Sweep. So Flora will give a reason to free-to-play players to use the Phantom Speed Sacred Seal on her, and she does have high speed, so Phantom Speed Sacred Seal will make her reach 40 speed, and if you provide her with Hone Speed support, then she will have 44 speed, which is enough to activate Wind Sweep against even the most fast boosted units on emblem teams. There is a reason why I made her this way. I did it because she will be a reliable poking unit, as she will not only be able to debuff units but also completely ruin the boost which Horse and Fire Emblem teams have, and that will allow her teammates to pick off that weakened unit. She's made to counter the distant counter units who are very popular in Arena right now, since most units who run or have distant counter have got low resistance like Ryoma, Ike, Xander, Effie, so Flora might not be a very impressive unit with her stats alone, but it's Wind Sweep and her Flame Shuriken which will make her a high tier unit. Just like her sister Felicia, she will have Breath of Life as her slot C skill and Glacis as her special, as she belongs to the Ice tribe. With skill inheritance, she will be able to get even more speed boost and effectively outspeed the entire metagame and poke them safely with skills like Life and Death 3 and Fury, and at max, she can reach 50 speed with Darting Blow, Phantom Speed Sacred Seal and Hone Speed support, which is going to be insane. Flora is not going to dethrone Kagero from being the best dagger user in the game, but instead, Flora is going to be a high tier unit because of her unique abilities. Some people might say that how I'm giving a free to play unit a premium skill like Wind Sweep, but I got this idea when in the Faye livestream we saw the next Grand Hero Battle unit, Walter, having Panic Ploy skill, which is also a premium skill from a 5-star unit. The reason why she's at 4th spot is because Intelligent Systems have made weapons in Heroes pretty simple, and they have not really added any kind of complex weapon like Levin's sword which strikes on the magical side or anything like that. So that's why it's kind of unlikely, but then again there is hope, but the chances are slim. Now let's move on to the 3rd unit.
I will extinguish you!
So on the 3rd spot, I've got Reina. Reina is from Fire Emblem Fates and she was a retainer of Queen Mikoto. She's going to be the first flying archer in the game due to being a Kinshi Knight. Her attack is going to be slightly above average, which will make her a high tier unit, and she's going to be fast because Kinshi Knights have got a pretty good speed growth rate, and in Fates, Reina also has +2 speed modifier. Her defense is going to be pathetic, but resistance would be average so that she can take some hits. She will come with a Woda Plus type of weapon, Crescent Bow. This bow is a rank bow in Fire Emblem Fates and Kinshi Knights could use it, and it was a very popular and notorious weapon in online battles. However, in Heroes it will work like Woda Plus and Dark Excalibur by giving +10 additional damage whenever a unit triggers a special. This weapon will also be inheritable because I'm really tired and bored of seeing so many Brave Bow builds. Basically, if you want to be high tier archers, you need to run Brave Bow. That's pretty much it. And we need to have a weapon that can be used to make builds other than Brave Bow and still make units high tier. So Crescent Bow Plus will do that. Her slotty skill is going to be a new skill, Air Superiority. This skill is going to be inheritable by only flying units. This might seem a bit too OP, but it's not really, as it requires precise placing. It will give you more power than Life and Death 3, but it won't reduce the bulk of your unit, so flying tanks like Tsubaki and Beruka can easily use this and get the much needed power in enemy phase as well. The way this skill will work is, for example, if you have got a flyer who's up against an infantry unit, and if that flyer is on a mountain, then that flyer will get this boost in combat. Another example is when your flyer is up against a horse unit, and if that flyer is on a forest, then this skill will be activated. So you could use the lava and water to your advantage at all given times. This will stack up with Hone Flyer's boost, so with this skill and the boost, that flyer can get +12 speed and +12 attack, which is pretty insane. Her slot C skill is going to be Speed Ploy, which we still haven't seen on any unit yet. Her special is going to be Moonbow, which is the best special with any kind of Woda weapon, and Reina is going to be another ranged nuker for Fire Emblem teams. She could be released with a banner, maybe something like Hoshiden Retainer's banner, which will have Kaze, Reina, and Orochi. I know that does mean that more Fates characters, but she cannot really be released as a Grand Hero battle unit, I think. So she brings a new bow to the table along with an exclusive skill for flyers. So now let's move on to the second unit on this list. So I've got Rath on the second spot. Rath is going to be the first horse archer in the game that is going to be playable. The chances of happening that is quite high. I would say that about 60% because we already have horse archer enemies in story maps and Grand Hero battles, and it's just that we do not have a playable one for ourselves. Rath is a recruitable ally in Fire Emblem 7 Blazing Sword, and he's my favorite character from that game and one of my favorite characters from the whole Fire Emblem franchise. When Fire Emblem Heroes launched, I was very surprised that he was not in the game, but it's completely possible for him to be added. Now I'm playing with fire here because Horse Emblem is the most oppressive team archetype in the game right now, and adding a Bow Cavalier would just strengthen Horse Emblem by giving it another ranged nuker, as if it does not already have Reinhardt and Blade Tome mages as nukes. So that's why I gave Rath below average attack. Something has to be done to balance him. I just cannot give him base attack of 32 like Reinhardt, knowing that people will inevitably run Brave Bow on him. His HP is going to be high, as in Blazing Sword he had a pretty nice HP growth rate, and his base attack, like I said, is going to be below average, but even with these stats he can easily become a top tier because of the insane mobility he has from being a horse unit and from being a ranged unit. His speed is enough to the point where he can double units after some buffs and avoid getting doubled and still survive despite his low bulk. His weapon is going to be Reinflesh, which is Blazing Sword's S-rank bow. This means that Rath we get in Fire Emblem Heroes has killed Morph of Yuhai in the final battle, and then he got this weapon from that Morph. This is a legendary bow, so it's not inheritable to any other unit, and Rath can only use it. Other legendary bows we have right now like Parthia and Fusion Yumi have pretty disappointing effects, so this will be different as it has got Desperation 2 built into it. With the help of Hone Speed boost and skills like Darting Blow, Fury, and Life and Death, Rath will be able to make pretty good use of this weapon. His Slotty skill will be a new skill, and it is a counterpart to Shield Pulse. We already got Shield Pulse as a slot B skill and Infantry Pulse as a slot C skill, so it's about time we get a Pulse skill for slot A. Slot A is for offensive skills, hence we have got Assault Pulse, and if you think about it, Area and Effect 5-turn cooldown specials are the true assault specials, as they are the only specials that you can trigger in player phase exclusively. All other offensive specials can be triggered even on a counter attack in enemy phase, so that's why this skill will only work with AoE specials. AoE specials are pretty bad for arena usage, but people still run them anyways because they are more expensive SP wise. Hence, they give you a nice boost to your total arena score if you have them on your units, so this skill will make them usable. But if you run this skill, then obviously you're not able to run Fury, Life and Death, or Death Blow, or any kind of offensive slot A skill. So you either choose between consistent damage or a big nuke that will hit many of your opponents. His slot C skill is going to be Bow Valor. We really need a way of getting fast SP on archers since their builds are some of the most expensive ones in the game, and since he has got Assault Pulse, he will come with Blazing Light, a 5-turn cooldown area on effect special, which will be a 3-turn cooldown special with Assault Pulse and a 2-turn cooldown special if the unit runs Quick on Pulse. Rath will be really amazing unit to have. I personally do not think that he's going to be as good as Bright Cordelia when it comes to offense, but still he's going to be one of a kind. Like I said, he has got 60% chance of being in the game due to already present enemy class, but there is a 40% chance that we will never get a unit like this in Heroes. Something tells me that intelligence systems think that they would make Horse Emblem just way too good if they release a Horse Archer, because unlike other ranged cavalry units, a Bow Archer is not gonna get bothered by weapons triangle. So sure, you could run Raven Tomes with Triangle Adept, but a counter to that in Cancel Affinity does exist. Also, the way they treated Tobin tells me that they do not want to put a Horse Archer in the game yet, because Tobin was given to us as a sword unit, which makes absolutely no sense. Like, who makes Tobin into a mercenary in Gaiden or Echoes? Tobin's most popular choices are either a mage or an archer, which finally promotes to a bone knight. The way they treated Tobin really makes me think that, but there's always hope. He could be released in a new Blazing Sword banner, which may include units like Nils, Urk, and Fiora along with Rath. Now let's move on to the number 1 unit on this list, whose launch is inevitable, and that unit will be released sooner or later.
You may call me Aversa.
On number 1 spot, I have Aversa. She's from Fire Emblem Awakening, and you face her as an enemy unit, but she can be recruited in a paralog as well. She will be the first red flying mage in the game. I know she's definitely gonna be released because recently we got Summer Corrin, who's a blue flying mage, and we already have Bunny Camilla as a green flying mage, so they just have to complete the weapons triangle by releasing a red flying mage, and Aversa is going to be just that. She could be released as a Grand Hero Battle unit just to have one flying mage that is free to play, and like I said before, this will give free to play players a solid red mage as they only have Ray and Sophia. As a unit, she's going to be a mix of Bunny Camilla and Summer Corrin. She's going to be strong with base attack of 33, but not as strong as Bunny Camilla, and she will be fine with base 32 speed, but not as fast as Summer Corrin, so she will be a nice mid-ground unit. She could also serve as a fantastic magic check due to her high resistance stat and Shadow Gift skill. I do feel like Fire Emblem teams do need some kind of magic check. I know Distant Counter Est and Florina can be made, but I would like a magic check which does not require Hector to be sacrificed. Both existing flying mages Bunny Camilla and Summer Corrin do not have high enough resistance to be magic checks. She will come with the Tome Goetia, which she uses against you in chapter 22 and 25 in Awakening, and it's going to be her personal weapon, so it will not be inheritable. It has got threat and resistance 2 built into it, which no other weapon in the game has. Her slot B skill is going to be her signature skill from Awakening, Shadow Gift. Even though this is her signature skill, it will be inheritable to other units. So if the unit who has got the skill has got more than or equal to 70% HP, then that unit will ignore the extra effect of opponent's tome during the combat, be it in the player phase or enemy phase. The current metagame is very mage oriented, so this skill will be a counterplay to it. However, it does not outclass the Tome Breaker skills because you will still get doubled by your opponent even with Shadow Gift, and it's just that the additional effect of their tome will be ignored during the combat. Not to mention, I also have a threshold condition, so this cannot be easily run with skills like Fury. So for example, Reinhardt's second attack is a property of his Dire Thunder Tome, so that will be ignored and he will only hit you once. If a Blade Tome user gets Hone attack boost, then that mage gets +8 attack. However, against a Shadow Gift unit, that mage will only get +4 attack boost and not the added bonus from the Blade Tome. This might look OP at first, but since Aversa is going to be released as a Grand Hero Battle unit, she will be available in a limited number, so players could at most get 3 Aversas from all of the difficulties, so Veils will not be able to wail for her and put Shadow Gift on a lot of units. Range units are just too good in this game, especially mages, because on average, units in this game have got lower resistance compared to defense stat, so some sort of skill is needed. This also serves as a good counter to Blade Tomes because their boost will not be as oppressive as before, and it's also a good counter to Quicken Pulse Reinhardt because he will be able to hit you only once, and that's gonna charge his Moonbow, but he won't be able to use Moonbow in that same combat unless he naturally doubles your unit or has a breaker skill. This skill will be inheritable to all units except for colorless, cavalry, and armored units. Colorless units can already abuse Cancel Affinity to bypass Triangle Adept Raven Tomes. Cavalry units are already so strong in the game, and you definitely do not want to run into a Shadow Gift Reinhardt. Armor Emblem's main weakness is mages, so I do not want to take that away. Now back to Aversa. Her slot C skill is going to be Hone Flyers. One of the reasons why I do not see as many Fire Emblem teams is because of the fact that you need one of the rarest units in the game to even think about building a Fire Emblem team, and that unit is Hinoka, who only appears as a 5-star unit and has only appeared in one banner months ago. She has got the Hone Flyer skill, and it's essential to abuse the power of flying units. All other Hone skills like Hone Cavalry and Hone Armor are easy to get but not Hone Flyer skills, so that's why she will have Hone Flyers. The monthly 10th Stratum Fire Emblem quest will become much easier for people who never pulled a Hinoka. Her special is going to be Iceberg because in Heroes, Gale Force is not allowed on range units, so that's why I've given her Iceberg, and that, my friends, is going to be my list for the unique units I want in this game. All of these units are good and will influence the metagame if they are released, and this video took a while for me to make, so if you could, please be sure to leave a like as it will be much appreciated, and share this video with your friends if they are fans of any of the characters on this list. I hope you all enjoyed this video, so with that being said, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.